All right. So I'm driving. So if the audio sounds a little off, that's why. But today is day 8 of my noFap journey. Let's see where to begin. I have a couple things I wanted to talk about today. So first of all, I haven't relapsed. I haven't been edging. Things are going good. So that's a huge positive. The first thing I wanted to say is that today I felt that all of a sudden, hey, it's day 8. And yeah, I've had some kind of urges, but I've just not followed through on any of them. And so today I was thinking, this is feeling more like fapping feels now more like a choice than like an addiction. Addiction to the sense where you pretty much don't have a choice, kind of thing. I think that's kind of a dangerous way to think about it. So if you're starting, if you're in your noFap journey, and let's say you've been fapping literally almost every day, sometimes multiple times a day for years, maybe even more than 10 years like me, okay? And then all of a sudden you go 8 days without fapping, and you're able to do it. It could feel like, hey, this is not an addiction, I can just stop, it's not a big deal. But I think that that's not going to be the case. I think it's going to get harder. I think the good thing so far is I've had urges, but because I knew I was making these videos, I quickly, right off the bat, even with thoughts, anything, I was just not going to do this. I'm doing my noFap journey. Now, I don't know if that the pressure of making these videos is going to keep me, able to do that for an extended period of time. So I think eventually the motivation and the power for me to stay in my noFap, and I have to rely on the desire that I have to get these benefits, the desire that the type of person I want to be because of the benefits, not objectifying women, rewiring my brain, fixing my dopamine, serotonin, stimulus so that it is a normal life. So I want to get all these other benefits. So that's kind of what I want to say on. So if you're on day 8, or maybe even further, or maybe even earlier, you may get to a point where you feel like, hey, this is just feeling like to fap or not to fap just feels like a choice, just a simple choice. And I think that feeling is legitimate because I definitely felt that this morning, hey, is this a choice? Kind of asking myself that question, is this just something I can choose to do or not do? You can choose to turn on a light or turn it off, type of thing. But I think I'm just trying to tell myself, self-talk, that's dangerous to feel that, I think. Because I know this is an addiction. This is how I deal with stress. I'm just like an alcoholic or a drug user when it comes to this. When life is slightly difficult, I throw this out there, and it makes it more manageable. But that's just one part of it, right? But anyways, that was one idea I wanted to talk about. Another idea, and this comes back to making me feel like, hey, this is not just a choice. This is literally your brain has been wired by fapping. So today I was driving, I'm driving right now. It actually just recently happened. And I'm on the highway or the freeway, depending on where you are in the United States or the world. You're going to call it one or the other. And there's a van in front of me. Okay, just this green minivan. It's kind of older, maybe 2000s. Anyways, I couldn't really see who was driving it, but I could tell from the outline, and it wasn't just a complete silhouette. There was some color, so I could see the person pretty much, but just barely. It was definitely a girl driving in the driver's seat, and the passenger seat was another girl. Now the other girl was reaching over, completely over to what looked like the driver's seat, and was doing some type of motion. Okay, now that I think about it now, she was probably cleaning something up, or who knows what she was doing, okay? But she was doing this back and forth, up and down type of motion, way over there near the girl's driver's seat. And my first thought was first I'm wait, what's happening here? But then I thought wait, is this girl doing this other girl while they're driving on the freeway? Okay, now if we take a step back okay, if you see some emotion like this, there's so many different things. I mean, you don't know the whole story, right? And there's so many possibilities. But the fact that the first possibility that came to my mind was like sex, was like this is what was happening. I feel like that's a good sign. I mean, that's a sign to me that, hey, you thought this way automatically because this is how your brain has been wired, to objectify women. Now, if I knew it was two guys, okay, there in this car making that same motion, would I have thought the same thing? I don't know, but this was just a reminder to me that even though earlier I thought, hey, is this just a choice? noFap, noFap is a choice for me? This was an example where it's not a choice, right? My brain has been wired, and this is what I'm trying to fix. All right, so that was one thing, and then the other thing I wanted to talk about is that my attitude has changed. I feel like I don't know if it's extra confidence just to be me, like who I really am, or if I've turned out slightly, how do I say it, less courteous of others. Okay, that sounds really weird, but let me tell you let me talk through what I mean by this. So, before, like usually in my life, I am super shy. I'm the one who, if I have a great idea, I'm not gonna like just go out and say it. I'm gonna wait for everyone else to have a turn to give their ideas, and then after they're done talking, at the end, I'll mention my idea, but I won't even be forceful about it. Be like, hey, this is the better idea. Here we go. Let's do this. It'll be more like, hey, what do you guys think about this? It'll be like a suggestion, and I'll like position this idea as if I don't have any ties to it. Where like it makes it so easy for other people to be like, you know, that's a good idea, but nah, we're not gonna do it. And it makes it so easy for people to like, you know, shrug off my ideas or my thoughts, right? So that's usually what I am. I'm super respectful. I'm always like positive and happy, you know, on the outside, okay, and shy. But now, since I've started this challenge, there's been, I think, 3 instances now where I guess I'll just talk about 2. I'll just talk about one where it's almost like I was not that, like what I just described. So here's one. So I have 4 part-time jobs, right? Plus I'm going to school. So life is pretty crazy. I mean, I still have time to do like relaxing and all that stuff, hang out with my family. But I was at one of these jobs, and they were talking about what we were gonna do, trying to go through it, and we're in this team, and the team members have different skill sets, right? And because they're different, when it came to this task that I'm pretty skilled at, the person leading the discussion broke it down like in super simple terms. And it just got to the point where I'm like, oh, come on, this just sounds so simple. In my mind, I'm like, let's just get to it, you know? And so they're talking about it, and I brought up one issue, and they're like talking about how to solve it, and they just kept talking and talking and talking and talking. And normally that's cool, it's whatever, you know? I don't bother. I'm not bothered by it. And I wasn't like bothered by it, but all of a sudden I got like, I mean, I was kind of tired of them talking about it, but usually if I'm tired of them talking about it, I just think that, hey, I feel like I'm tired of talking about it, but I don't show it. But here, I just started showing it. Like, and I knew I was showing it because when we started working on it, the person I worked with, he said something that he's never said before, and he did several times. So he was like, hey, we could do this, but only if you want to, Chris. You know, only if you want to. So, yeah, so because he said, only if you want to, right? That kind of gave me a key that he's picking up that I'm showing physically that I'm tired of whatever we were just talking about, and I'm not interested in doing it. And so then he decided to say, hey, let's do this, but only if you want to. He didn't want to push my buttons type of thing. So that was interesting. So yeah, I don't know if I'm becoming ruder or just more confident of being, like, showing my real self, whatever I'm actually feeling, kind of just showing it. So that's interesting. So that's something to be aware of, I guess, for me personally. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to be working on next. So I think earlier on in this, a couple days ago, I started feeling like different emotions, and I felt like, hey, these emotions are what are always existing, but because in the past I used to FAP, did not feel those emotions, I wasn't feeling them. So now I have to deal with those emotions. Now I think the second part to this is that there's ways that I naturally want to react to different things. And because fapping has created this sense of shyness, not self-confident, because I objectify, when I'm in a room and I'm objectifying women, it's kind of setting me off, where I'm not able just to be my natural self. So now that my natural self is going to come out, I also have to deal with that, like knowing who I am, how I feel, and then be able to control the way I express my natural self. Once you have confidence, how to express it. Like, one example is, if you think someone is, I don't know, if someone's a jerk, right? And if you're too shy to say anything about it or deal with it, you'll just kind of 100% pretend that they're not a jerk, and you'll never, like, give them any signs, anything that you don't like what they're doing, right? Now, if you're confident and you don't really care, right, about what other people think, and you're able to just be you could totally say, hey, man, that's being a jerk. I don't want to deal with you anymore. But I mean, you want to coexist with people, so you gotta have this medium, and so that's what I'm gonna work on next, I think. All right. Well, this is day 8. I'm gonna end it there.